Join us on the journey this week as we explore more of the South Georgian area. But we also face a very scary vet emergency while we were there. Cody talks about an exciting giveaway going on right now.
And if you guys want to get entered, there's a couple of ways to do it.
And then we weigh the trailer with our new truck and walk through how it all breaks down.
Now let's find out what our trailer weighs fully loaded when it's not attached to the truck.
Good morning. We're getting a little bit of a late start this morning. We didn't get in and get to bed until very early in the morning this morning because we had a little bit of a pet emergency. We named Eris because she's our little goddess of chaos and destruction, because it fits her. So a little more about that later. It's our last day here in Brunswick, Georgia. It's no secret, we have absolutely loved this campground. But we have the day to go explore, so that's what we're going to do as soon as I finish getting ready. So while I'm doing that, Cody has a few things to get ready so that he doesn't have to do it later. And then we gotta go.
Like Angela said, we have a lot of things to catch you guys up on. Some of them good, some of them not so good. But while I'm waiting on her to walk the dogs and get ready to go this morning, figured I'd come out and go ahead and flush my tanks. So I have that done for travel day tomorrow. I haven't always been a big one to push tank treatments of any kind. I've been a big proponent of just using a lot of water and having a really good flush process. But they gave me a bottle to try back at the Hershey RV show. I'm loving it. It does a great job of keeping my gray tank sensors working right. Keeps the smell down on everything. I've never really been a proponent of any one tank cleaner or tank chemical before, but I am now. I love this stuff. And I think it's a great time for you guys to try it out because they're doing a pretty awesome giveaway. LIQUIFIED's giving away an Alliance Delta SLE ML206 RV travel trailer. If you guys remember back at the Hershey RV show, I was a big fan of the Alliance products that I looked at, so I have no doubt that this is going to be an awesome travel trailer for somebody out there. And if you guys want to get entered, there's a couple of ways to do it. One, all you have to do is go to liquifiedrv.com and buy something, and they're going to give you an entry for every dollar you spend there. If you're not ready to buy something, or maybe you've already bought something and you just don't need any more right now, you can also go to their website and fill out a quick survey, and that'll get you entered to win the Alliance travel trailer. And you can continue to buy stuff. There's some options on there to share some things on social media for extra entries and things like that. I think it's a really great giveaway for a really great product. So we'll put a link in the description here if you guys want to check it out. And let us know in the comments if you've used it. Let us know what you think. Again, we think it's a great product. We think you guys will enjoy it, or we wouldn't be talking about it. So now that my tanks are about done flushing, I think Angela's about ready to go explore. Let's go make it a good day.
Get Daddy, get him.
So on our way out to adventure this morning, I had to swing by the local Family Dollar to do my Amazon pickup. And today I got a commercial heavy-duty tire plug kit. I don't really know the brand, 68 pieces, but a lot of you guys recommended in the comments after we had our last flat tire to keep one of these on hand. And from what I'm hearing from you guys, this is a really reliable and safe way to field repair a trailer tire. I was a little apprehensive on using a traditional, your O'Reilly's brand, regular tire plug. I've had good luck with those on, like four-wheelers and utility trailers around the farm and stuff like that. But I've always been really adverse to plug in a tire that runs down the road at highway speeds. But I did a lot of research on this. I think this is a really good option. I'll probably still change a tire if I have a flat, because honestly, I think it'd be faster to change a tire on the road than to take it off, plug it, and put it back on. The reason I'm carrying this is because it's like a spare for a spare. In two different situations, we've had to drive hundreds of miles on our spare. And if you have another flat, you're just kind of stuck. So I'm going to keep this in the truck. So should I have an issue out on the road, I can always plug it if I need to, or if, heaven forbid, I have two flats, I've got kind of a spare in a box here.
Thanks for always looking out for us. We made a mistake last night of talking about Christmas candy, so we fell prey while we were in there.
Not we, she. She started this.
We fell prey while we were in there. Mr. Reese's Christmas tree.
If you can't beat them, join them. I wasn't going to get anything like that. That's all you. You're a bad influence.
Okay.
We shouldn't be eating in the car at all. But it's a Reese's tree. And you guys can let me know in the comments what your favorite Christmas candy is. I really do try to eat somewhat healthy and take care of myself. But I'm a sucker for Reese's Cups, one. And I get really excited around the holidays because the chocolate to peanut butter ratio in the Reese's Christmas tree and the Reese's Easter egg, it's the best chocolate to peanut butter ratio ever. So I'm breaking my own rule. I'm eating in the truck.
Science.
And it's just going to happen because you're going to eat in the truck anyway.
I went with the classic candy cane. Until I find what I'm looking for.
I think I'd have spent money on something chocolate, but hey, that's just me.
Lover's Oak, right here in the middle of the road, is estimated to be over 900 years old. And the legend goes that the Native American braves would meet their maidens under this oak tree.
It's a beautiful tree. And even you can even see the concrete of the roads kind of swelled up, so you kind of drive past it like this.
Start this journey at Mary Ross Waterfront. We thought it'd be a great place for parking if we need to.
They have a center console that looks to be about probably 20, maybe 30 feet. I'm guessing they just lifted off of there with that crane. Huh. Man, that's cool. I don't want to drive the big boat. I just want to take the center console and just go cruise around and come back and let somebody else drive.
Lift you up out of the water?
Yeah, just pick me right up out of the water. Oh, look at that.
Naughty dog getting into the trash is a great segue to talk about our little hellion, Eris.
She is truly the goddess of chaos. You named her so well. And you picked that name like the day we picked her up. You didn't have to think about it. We didn't even know her yet, and you picked that name.
It suits her. Well, we had a little event, and she got into the trash. We're usually very, very careful, and we had it out, and we walked outside for a few minutes. We really didn't think there was anything in there that was nefarious in our minds until later we figured out that there was indeed some bad stuff in there for her. And she got all of it. Every bit that was bad, she got it.
Yeah, we walked outside to check on the campfire, maybe out for like 10 minutes, and came back into a mess and a major problem. First thing they said was try to induce vomiting. We pull up peroxide in a little syringe, and we just couldn't get it in her. It was freaking her out. She was, getting really aggressive about it. So we had to make a quick decision and drive about an hour south to Florida to a 24-hour emergency clinic.
Thankfully, we did make a quick decision, and that clinic was phenomenal.
But Raven, our vet tech, was just awesome to deal with, and Dr. Robinson was great. They got us in and out of there in a couple of hours. They induced vomiting in a way that I've never seen before. They gave her just drops in the eyes. They kicked in like 5 minutes. Everything came up, clean bill of health. And you would think going into a 24-hour vet clinic at 9 or 10 o'clock at night on a Friday was going to be really expensive. Not so much. Like $220 out the door.
They deserve a shout and made us feel better. We happily paid $200 for her to be able to come home because we had to have some tough conversations.
Yeah.
What if this and what if that?
Inducing vomiting worked. perfectly, everything's great. And then she was just kind of sleepy after. She slept the whole way home. She slept all night. She's eating. Everything's working like it should. So, you know, crisis averted, and we just got a $200 reminder to not leave a bag of trash on the floor, not for even a single minute.
Because she was freaking out so much, they did allow us to be in this separate room with her and be there with her as she went through this, which I think kept her calm. It worked out really, really well.
Eris doesn't do well with strangers, so even for them to do something as simple as put drops in her eyes, she was not having it.
So here's sweet little Raven sitting in the middle of the floor with us, digging through all of Eris's stuff to make sure that everything that we were concerned about came up. And like he said, drops, within 5 minutes, she's vomiting, and within 20 minutes, she was done. Which wouldn't have happened if we would have induced ourselves. So that was amazing. She went home, she drank, she ate a little bit of some suggested foods, happy, and we're happy to have our little terror back.
Yeah, and she got her way because she gets pressure cooked chicken and rice for the next 2 or 3 days instead of dry dog food. So, you know, it's one of those things you wish they were like kids where you can sit down and go, okay, you got that sick because you got into the trash and ate it. No, by the time she had to go through the bad stuff, she forgot all about it. She had no idea why she was throwing up. So there's no lesson learned on her end. She doesn't care. She's just happy to have chicken and rice for breakfast, but we're glad she's okay.
No regrets. It is not Cody's birthday today. However, when this airs on the 7th, it will be Cody's birthday. So if you want to pop a happy birthday down there, happy birthday, Cody!
Still young at heart.
And we're going to start at the National Monument. You rebel. You're such a rebel. These walls are made of a product they call tabby. They basically build a fire and they put these seashells and they burn them down into an ash, mix them up with rock and other shells and other things, and it makes a form of concrete that they call tabby.
Interesting.
That's how you use your resources.
They have things set up like this is where the market used to be, and it kind of shows you, and there's kind of some remnants of buildings and stuff. This goes all the way back to the 1700s, so you can kind of visualize what life was like here. It's just pretty to walk around underneath the big pretty trees with all the Spanish moss. It's just a really, really pretty place to be.
And to get into this place was Cody's favorite price.
For free!
It's time for us to go check on the dogs.
Check the patient.
See how our little patient's doing. Everywhere we've been, we've met some of the nicest people. But Georgia people, you ever go
crazy.
somewhere where it's almost overwhelmingly nice? I bet the people here at the DMV are nice.
I don't know, the South Dakota DMV people were very nice and friendly, but that's
Sure.
been my only good experience at DMV.
Even their gas stations are called Friendly Express.
Yeah, and the Friendly Expresses down here work with Upside. I was going to buy fuel at the Loves, which is right by the campground, but it was like $3.45 and then I think $3.20, $3.19 with the discount, or I could go right down the road to Circle K, use Upside, and get fuel for like $2.94. Babies.
A baby doll. Oh,
How's our patient?
waggly tails. The weeniest of the weenies.
Got her fast feet working.
Get that ball. Yeet. Oh. You silly girl. Oh, what's she say? Says you. I just threw some tacos together, put something on our stomachs until the roast is done.
Nice.
I'll show you a trick. Hang on. Now, this just looks like plain old taco with some meat and cheese and salsa in there, right? Wait for it.
Oh, you got the magic?
Now it's gourmet.
It makes everything gourmet.
Last stop before we are in Florida for 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Which will be the most we've ever spent in Florida.
That might be, other than Arkansas and Illinois, that might be the most time we've ever spent in one state since we've been on the road.
It's true. But we're planning to hit a lot of it. We have one last task before we do that.
We weighed our blue truck in this trailer, and I know we're going to be good on the truck, but since I haven't scaled this thing with the new setup, I thought today might be a good time to do it. Now we're just going to go find a place to drop this trailer, get our empty weight. So this is going to give us a really good idea of what we're going to look like fully loaded, because we can do the math on the water tank and things like that. I like to do this from time to time. I've probably only done it 4 or 5 times since I've been full-time on the road, but there's a few things to it. There's a few tricks we got to do, a little bit of math to figure out our PIM weight and our axle weight and all that good stuff. So rather than stop and do that now and take up a trucker spot, we'll wait till we get to camp and we'll all sit down and get our calculators out together and see what all these numbers mean.
This campground we're going to is not a traditional campground. I'm not completely sure what to expect, but so far the people have been really nice. The reviews were good. So we're going to see what we're getting into. But they did give me a lot of good information, one of which is, regardless of what your GPS tells you, we are the first driveway on the left. I think it's an individual that owns the land, and so they do ask you to give them ETAs and things like that so they can lead you in. Cody's about to explode. He's
I've got to go to the bathroom so bad.
Too much to drink.
Too much coffee, too much Red Bull.
What makes you think in 2 hours you should drink the biggest Red Bull you can find, a whole bunch of coffee, and a whole bunch of water?
You got to wake up. You told me I got to basically drop the trailer and start running, so.
Yeah, I may need a little caffeine injection myself.
All right, if you remember yesterday on travel day, we stopped at the Loves and scaled out our truck and trailer because I haven't yet scaled this whole thing out with the new truck. I knew we'd be fine, but I kind of wanted to go ahead and take a second check everything out, see if anything's changed, and report back to you guys. If you've never done this before, I know it can be really, really intimidating. It was to me the first couple of times, and to be honest, I made a whole bunch of notes on my phone to make sure I get it right for you guys on this video in case it's your first time, or maybe it's been a little while. The first tip I want to give you guys is scale it like you're gonna run it. If you usually travel with your wife and your kids and your dogs, don't go to the cat scale by yourself in the truck, because all that weight adds into the truck. So for us, that means me and Angela, the dogs, the generator in the back, we got a couple of totes of tools and things like that. So we want to scale it as we're running it down the highway. So for this, I went ahead and filled up the truck with fuel. We had nearly a full tank of DEF. Now, as far as the trailer goes, we usually run with pretty much empty tanks. I might have a little bit of water in the fresh tank, but that's about it. So both of our gray tanks were completely drained before we went. I had basically no water. There's always a little bit of water, but call it no water in the fresh tank, and about 5 gallons of water in the black tank that I add after I flush. So that's kind of the baseline for where we set up to run this thing on the scales. So once you have everything set up, I would recommend downloading the CAT Weigh My Truck app. It's a free app on the App Store. It's going to help you find your nearest scaling location, and go ahead and set up your account on there so it can charge your credit card, because you don't want to be doing this on the scale. So once you get on the scale, it only takes a few seconds. You follow the instructions on the app. It's going to give you your weigh ticket that you can download in PDF, and this app keeps them forever, so you always have them if for some reason you want to look back to them. So how does that 23,560 pounds break down? Well, first, when you get on a scale, you're going to want to talk about your axle weights. And for those of you that already know this and are going, why are you telling me? There may be somebody out here who doesn't. So I want to kind of go through the basics. So your front axle, your steering axle of your truck is your steer axle. Same on a semi. When we talk about the drive axle, that's the driving axle of your truck, your rear wheels. The only difference between that and a semi, other than size, is you would have a second set of duals right behind this for a total of 10 tires on the truck. And obviously when we talk about the trailer axle, we're talking about the trailer wheels. Whether you have 1 axle, 2 axle, or 3, it's all going to fall under the trailer axle on the CAT scale. The first thing I wanted to do, and I'm going to cheat here and look at my notes a little bit, is see if we're good to go on the GVWR of our truck. And to do that, we're going to take that scale ticket that has the loaded RV on the back, and we're going to add the steer axle and the drive axle of the truck together. And for us, that's 13,080 pounds. This truck has a GVWR of 14,000 pounds. So we have just nearly 1,000 pounds to play with on the truck. Good to go there. Now we're going to want to go weigh the truck by itself. And that's going to give us a couple of numbers to work with, the first being the pin weight. So when we went and checked the weight of the truck by itself, we had a steer axle weight of 5,600 pounds, a drive axle weight of 4,280 pounds, for a total gross weight of the truck of 9,880 pounds. Keep in mind, Angela and I are in the cab, the dogs are in, the fuel tank's full, the generator's in the back, the hitch is in there, all the other goodies we keep in the bed of the truck are in there. So as we run down the road empty, we are 9,880. That's a heavy truck. Now let's figure out what the pin weight is on the trailer. If you're wondering what pin weight is, it's also sometimes referred to as hitch weight. And that's the amount of pressure right here that's setting on the rear of the truck. This is important for a few reasons, and it also plays into payload, so this is a really important number. So what I did was combine the steer weight and the drive axle weight of the truck with the trailer on it, and that came up to 13,080 pounds. We're going to subtract that from our empty truck weight of 9,880, and that's going to give us a pin weight of 3,200 pounds. I want to stop dead in our tracks right here for just a second and talk about this. Because if you're in the market for a new truck or a new RV, or maybe both at the same time, there's a big red flag and just kind of a big something to watch out for on these RV websites, and I don't care who makes it. The advertised pin weight on this RV, you want to guess it? I'm going to give you like 5 seconds to guess it. The advertised pin weight of this RV from Grand Design is 2,104 pounds. Now, we live in this thing full time, so since we have it loaded up with all our gear, it's 3,200 pounds. We're talking about 1,000 pounds more than what it says on the website. So just because you can pull this rig by the number, sitting empty on the factory lot, doesn't mean you can in a real world scenario, because that number is before there's any water in the tanks, propane in the tanks, and sheets on the bed even. That is a true empty weight. So just bear that in mind if you're doing a little shopping out there. So we just talked about finding our pin weight, and there's one little quick thing to note there. The general rule from what I've always understood is about 20% of your loaded trailer weight should be on your pin. For us, it's about 23%. Not a big deal, but if I had some rear storage areas in the back of the RV or some better storage back there at all, I would probably shift a little weight back to kind of stay closer to that 20% threshold on the truck. It's not going to hurt anything to my knowledge, but just something to think about. Maybe you're shopping for that new RV and you're wondering what the loaded pin weight will be. Well, kind of a safe rule is about 20% of the trailer's weight is going to be on the pin, so that's just a starting point for you. Now, on that note, if we were to add, say, a half a tank or a full tank of water over our trailer axles, that adds weight to the rear. It might reduce the pin weight, and it could have an impact and take a little weight off the nose for us. Maybe I'll try that in a future video, and if I do, I'll let you guys know how that turns out. All right, moving on. Now let's find out what our trailer weighs fully loaded when it's not attached to the truck. And to do that, we're going to take our pin weight of 3,200 pounds and add it to our trailer axle weight of 10,480, and that's going to give us a total of 13,680 pounds. That's the trailer when it's sitting here without the truck hooked to it. You want to check that against your GVWR. The GVWR on this trailer is 13,995, giving us an additional 315 pounds to play with. So that either means Angela can buy more stuff to put in here, or she can go on a purge and find some stuff to pull out. But either way, we're good to go on the trailer. So what did we learn today? We learned about our pin weight. We learned that we're under the GVWR on our trailer, and we learned that we're under the GVWR on our truck. All of those things are great. If you guys haven't done this, I'd really recommend for you to go to a CAT scale and just make sure that everything's in check, that you're running down the road safely. And if you've done any big changes, think about maybe you just added that washer and dryer in the front, or maybe you got a toy hauler and you just bought a bigger side-by-side to stick in the back. Or you've made some kind of modifications that either added or took away weight from the trailer. Anytime you make a big change, and in an RV, when you're talking about weight, a big change can be a couple of 100 pounds. I definitely recommend running that back across the scale one more time just to make sure you're all in check. Everybody always wants to talk about payload. It is a big deal in the RV industry. For us, payload's a non-issue because we're running a ton truck on a dually with a reasonably light trailer, so not a big deal for us. But I really worry about payload numbers when we see these half-ton towable fifth wheels and some of these bigger trailers. The dealers will tell you that it's safe with the half-ton, but it may not be. The only way to tell is to scale. So just make sure you're running legal out there. Stay under your numbers. Don't believe the tow police on the internet. They're not always right. Go to the CAT scale, get your own numbers, do your own math, and know that you're good.
The only way to tell is to scale. You're a poet.
Don't I know it? I may put that on a t-shirt. Not really. Cat Skills should put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. An update on Eris. She is doing great. Charlie's getting a little clingy, actually. He was not happy that we left him, and usually he's happy for her to go outside for a few minutes where he has some time to himself. He doesn't have to worry about his toys being stolen, and she kind of annoys him. But he's very clingy to her right now. So I guess she told him all about what happened.
Why is Charlie being clingy and otherwise annoying? Because the vet told us to put Eris on people food, boiled chicken and beef and rice and stuff for the next few days because her stomach might be aggravated. He's honky and annoying because we put him in the chair where he can't get down and we feed her special diet until she gets better. He always gets some too, but he just honks about it until he gets his way.
We let him have a little, but he doesn't, we don't need to change too many diets in here. That's not good.
That's for sure.
But he is actually getting a little clingy. Like when she comes in, he'll make sure and sniff her. And so I think she told him. She
told him some war stories?
I think so.
Well, there were war stories to be told. Be grateful that we didn't film that entire operation because we would have lost all our subscribers and then where would we be?
I'm very grateful that they let us be in there for her to purge, but somebody didn't handle it very well. And I have a very weak stomach.
I've seen things, folks. I've seen things.
It's like with your kids. When you're in the moment, you just deal with it because it is, maybe a little, but
that out there just speaks to the maternal instinct. The moms can seem to handle that stuff, and I don't know if I speak for all the dads out there, but I know for me, I never did really great with vomiting and number 2 stuff. So big thanks to Ange for powering through that on our behalf.
It sounds like an excuse to me, but we are happy that our little terror is happy again. She's a little tired, but nothing that we're worried about. And thank you guys for joining us on this journey, a brand new journey. It's always something.
And while you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you know when our next video comes out, and we'll see you guys on the highway. Read your Gordon Wood. You regurgitate it.
The apples and wood.
Let's hope they don't want to talk, because I gotta find the bathroom. Talk later.
Well, if they talk, I'll get you out of that jam. You just run on back to the bathroom and I'll talk to you.
Now we're gonna want to go weigh the truck. I looked over there. So we're gonna take the weight of our steer and drive axle. Just keep that in mind. I guess we'll take a little break in the video. If somebody wanted to buy ad space, this would be a great time to do it. Needless to say, we're not in a studio. And we're back. That ad break was brought to you by the local police and fire department. Thank you guys for your service. And the barking dog. So I'm gonna back up over here by the trailer in hopes that it blocks out some of that noise.